What's going on YouTube? RDAP Dan here, Federal Prison Time Consulting. Hope you guys are having a great week. Happy Wednesday to everybody. Give you guys a few minutes to join us, and today we're going to be talking about the prison consultants that fell under federal indictment, have been actually arrested, already brought to, they were incarcerated, then released. Right now they're out on bond. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today because I know many of you possibly have even hired these guys. So give everybody a few minutes. Hope you guys are having a great week. Today's Wednesday. And take this moment, if you haven't done so, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Also, don't forget to text the word YouTube to 76626. That will put you on our text message notification list to help you stay up to date with our videos when we're going live, streaming, all of that really, really good stuff. So, what's up, Robbie? We got Robert M. hanging out with us right now. I just came back from a wedding. I just got back in town 2 days ago from Indiana. I had an absolute blast. One of my best friends from my childhood got married over the weekend. Got married on Sunday, to be exact. My best friend, Matt. I got to be the best man, which was very riddled with anxiety because I had to prepare a speech, and you guys know me. I like to try to stay true to form and not screw it up. So it was pretty intense. I actually threw up about 35-40 minutes before the speech. But yeah, I think it all went really, really well, and it was one heck of a wedding. I'm not a huge fan of weddings, I'm not going to lie. Usually it's like just exhausting, and it's so formal, and everybody's uptight. This was a lot of fun. This was probably one of the funnest weddings. Beautiful wedding. I forgot the place where they had it. It was at this beautiful mansion in Indiana. I can't even imagine what this wedding must have cost, but it was one heck of an amazing wedding. Jessica Kent. Oh, the banner behind me. I actually just became certified through them to be basically like a drug counselor. This is the company right here. So I'm just waiting to get some information in the mail, and we're going to be doing some workshops for the youth, letting them know about those bad drugs out there. So we got Jess. Guys, go check out Jessica Kent's YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Probably more of you probably are subscribed to her than me at this point. So those of you over at Jessica Kent's channel, check out my channel. Who else we got? Woman Locked Up. Hey, what's going on? Women Locked Up before and after. I'm doing great. Hope you're doing really good. Another female prison channel, guys. Go check out Woman Locked Up before and after. These are some really creative prison channels where these women tell their stories, and they're sharing other stories, and really just kind of being very transparent, putting all that information out there of what their experience was like. Then, of course, there's more YouTube channels in my room right now than anybody else. Anthony Ganzi from Tier Talk, another prison-related, well, not really prison-related, more from a correctional officer's point of view. And I just did a video with, what's his name? Help me out here, Anthony. You know who, you saw the video. I did a video with an actual correctional officer who's got a channel. And for some reason, the name is just not coming to mind right now. But I had a blast doing the interview with him, and he actually just posted the first video, I think a couple days ago. He's going to do 3 parts. As the key turns. Yes. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, that was a lot of fun, Anthony. You and I got to connect too. I know you and I have been talking about it, so we got to make that happen. So today we're talking about RDAP Law Consultants. I've done videos on them. I've done rants on them. I've done blogs on them. And I thought these guys really were going to get away with what they were doing forever. But finally, this past January, they were indicted. They all got arrested. And for those of you that don't know who RDAP Law Consultants are, and for those of you that are just finding out about their indictment, this is why you haven't been able to reach them. Their phone numbers have been turned off. Their website is down. I know a lot of you have spent a lot of money. We've been getting probably 1 to 2 phone calls almost daily of individuals that paid RDAP Law Consultants to provide services, and they got indicted. Why did they get indicted? Should the rest of the prison consulting world be concerned? Maybe a few prison consultants should be concerned, but not everybody. The reason why they got indicted, their actual charges were conspiracy to defraud the BOP and wire fraud. And why did they get conspiracy to defraud the BOP? Well, what they were doing was anybody that wanted to get into RDAP, the Residential Drug Addiction Program. Everybody wants to get into the Residential Drug Addiction Program because that program can reduce your sentence by up to 12 months, depending on how much time you have remaining on your sentence when you enter the program. Is what determines how much time you can have your sentence reduced from whatever sentence the judge imposes on you. So what RDAP Law Consultants was doing is, regardless whether or not you had a substance abuse problem, used drugs or didn't use drugs in the past, they were coaching clients how to qualify or say the right thing in order to potentially get accepted into the program, and even coaching individuals to flat out lie, telling individuals to say they had substance abuse problems when they didn't have any, telling individuals to take specific drugs to appear to be having withdrawals when they weren't having any, drinking before they leave to go to prison to appear to be dealing with anxiety. We just had a client that called us, or actually his family called us, I think it was last week or the week after, a week before, said that they hired RDAP Law Consultants and they couldn't get a hold of RDAP Law Consultants. And of course, I explained to them it's because they were sitting in jail. Then she said her husband hired them, followed their directions. I can't remember what prison camp he arrived at, but because he showed up drunk, they put him into solitary confinement. And they told him once he's finished with his solitary confinement, which it was already 2 weeks at that point, he might still be there for all I know, that they were not going to put him back into the camp, that they were going to transfer him to the low because they were afraid that he may be going through withdrawals, and that because there's no perimeter fence around a camp, they're afraid he might just walk off because he's going to be so crazy wanting to get his alcohol that he was just going to go on flight and go get drunk or high, even though this client didn't even have a substance abuse problem. This is what happens when you listen. Look, clients that hire RDAP Law Consultants that were told to do these unscrupulous type of activities, they knew it was wrong, but that's how bad they wanted to get into the program, and RDAP Law Consultants knew that's how bad they wanted to get into the program. So people were going along with these things, even though it potentially was, it was lying, and it got them in more issues. Some clients now aren't entering into the camps, and more importantly, by individuals doing this, there are legitimate people that are going into the Bureau of Prisons that have substance abuse problems, severe substance abuse problems. And by individuals taking advantage of the program like this, and by RDAP Law Consultants facilitating this fraud, it's taking spaces from individuals that truly need the help, that can't get the help because it's out of spaces. They've been doing this since 2012, and they just finally got in trouble. We did a video about on them over a year ago now, trying to expose them. We sent information to the feds. We sent information to different U.S. attorneys, trying to bring this to their attention because they were based out of Michigan and they got indicted out of Connecticut. So somebody out of Connecticut caught wind of what was going on and slapped the door on these guys. So the names, Anh Nguyen. Any of you that have ever contacted or spoke to anybody from RDAP Law Consultants probably heard the name Anh Nguyen, which is not his real name. That is his pseudonym. That is his fake name that he uses online with people because he did not want people to know his real name. His real name is Tony Pham. There's actually a link in the description of this video to the court documents. I saved them to Google Drive and created a shareable link, so you guys should be able to go view. It's got the indictment in there. They just got released on bond, so they're out on bond now. It has their bond conditions. So any of you that have been taken advantage by RDAP Law Consultants, guys, do your homework, reach out to the agents. From what I've seen, none of the clients have been in any additional trouble for trying to use RDAP Law Consultants. So if you hired RDAP Law Consultants, I would reach out, especially if you're out money right now. That might be one of the only ways that you have the ability to make get some restitution back from that. The other individual's name is a guy named Samuel Copenhaver. Samuel Copenhaver. We all are very familiar with that name. These guys are just true maggots of society. That's what I should have named the video, Maggots of Society. But yeah, Sam Copenhaver, another lady by the name of Constance Moreland. Constance Moreland, and they are all out of Michigan. And then there's actually a fourth person who hasn't been indicted yet, and I really hope this guy gets indicted because maybe he wasn't indicted because he was the first one to turn and maybe roll on everybody else and, tell on the rest of the people. I'm not sure. But his pseudonym, or we'll call it his stage name, was a guy by the name of Daniel Johnson, whose real name evidently is Daniel Barnacle. And that's who is in the picture over here on the screen. Let me drag this picture, make it a little bit bigger here for you guys for just a second. These are the individuals here. We're going to blow up over my face for a second. So you've got all these people right here. Top left is Anh Nguyen, real name Tony Pham. Far right is Samuel Copenhaver. Bottom left, obviously, that's Constance Moreland. Those three have been indicted. And then the guy on the bottom corner there, bottom lower corner, right corner, that's Daniel Johnson, whose real name is Daniel Barnacle. Now, he has not been indicted yet. And I've actually had conversations with this guy. He's 100% as dirty as the rest of them. 100%. He's probably pissed right now that I'm posting this on video. Actually, they're all probably pissed because I think they're out all on pretrial supervision. So I released this video, and there's also a link to the video that I released exposing these idiots that I did over a year ago. Now, what's interesting is I did this video over a year ago, and these scumbags, they were so pissed off that I released the video, and I don't blame them for being pissed. I mean, they were flat out ripping people off and telling people to do very, very, very shady things to get into the program and really giving prison consulting in general a really bad name. So in retaliation, what they did, because clearly I wasn't in any violation, I'm allowed to post a video if I could prove that you were being a con artist, is they created a fake website about me saying that I was like a federal agent or some bunch of bullshit. I don't really remember exactly the details. But, of course, some people read exactly what they believe, and I started getting phone calls going, hey, we hired you to help us, and the internet says you're a federal agent. Is that true? And, of course, it's not true. But the only way these scumbags were willing to take it down, now they never admitted to posting the video. But Anh Nguyen, Tony Pham, told me, he goes, I can't say that we put up that website, but I can tell you if you take down the video that the website will probably come down. So sure enough, when I took down the video, within like 20 minutes, the website came down. But once I saw them get indicted in January, the video went right back up. I actually reposted the video as a new video. So now it's on the internet twice. It's on there from a year ago, and then it's also on there from like 2 or 3 months ago. So they were mad because they were exposed by a legit consultant. Well, thank you, Kevin. I really do appreciate that. It's very true. These guys they're really bad news. And there's actually another consultant out there who I've got my eye on right now. They're out of Florida, and they've done some pretty shady things as well. You guys may have heard of them. Anybody that's been taken advantage of by a prison consultant, I would really like to hear from you because, we have this venue, we have this platform where we can discuss different topics and we can talk about these things. And if you have proof that you've been taken advantage of, then I don't mind exposing somebody. We received an email from a client that she hired another consulting company and she wasn't getting what she paid for, or at least she didn't feel like she was getting what she paid for. She ended up hiring us, and one day before she self-surrendered, she received an email from them, and the email said, if we don't receive the payment in full before you self-surrender, we're going to submit a judgment to your sentencing judge that is going to prevent you from getting into RDAP, it's going to prevent you from going to a camp, and is going to prevent you from going to a halfway house. Can't happen, completely, 100% a lie, complete bullshit. But she didn't know any better. She didn't pay them. Luckily, she had already hired me, so she called me crying. My cat just jumped up on the desk. Get down, Kiki, man. But she called me crying, and I had to explain to her. I was like, look, they cannot do that. So, of course, I sent them a message, and I asked the guy, I said, hey, I didn't say specifically, I said, do you send your clients that don't pay you money a letter letting them know that you're going to prevent them from getting into RDAP? And, of course, he said, Why would I do that? That's illegal. That can't happen. So then I forwarded him the email that she sent me that was clearly from them. And he about lost his wig. He was saying that's a confidential email. You're not allowed to read that. And I told him, look, I said, save it for somebody who cares. My advice to you is to stop doing what you're doing, or I will make videos about you. And he got a little feisty. He was like, I'm going to call, or I'm going to report this. That's extortion. So okay, let's play that game. I don't care. I'm at a point where I love what I do, and prison consultants aren't fond of me. They're not fond of my tactics. You know, there's all this talk about white collar criminals and how their situation is so very different from other non-violent first-time offenders. And this gap is getting so big that the price tag that's associated to it, if you're a white collar individual, you are probably going to get price gouged out. Your prices, your consulting fees are going through the roof. You're getting pitches and quotes from prison consultants, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, because you think there's something different that you're dealing with. And I understand why you would think that. Everybody thinks these cushy white collar prisons are for white collar individuals that are wealthy only. Absolutely not true. Most white collar prison camps only have 20-30% white collar individuals in them. The rest of the individuals are non-violent drug offenders that could be making $12 an hour. So whether you're making $12 an hour or you're a very wealthy, and let's call it from the admission scandal, we've all seen the admission college scandal. A lot of those individuals are freaking out right now, and of course they're going to do anything they can do to try to mitigate their circumstance, not go to prison. And there's a prison consultant out there right now that is capitalizing off this to the T. And it makes you want to go, poof, because it's so sickening and frustrating to watch, because we know from our side that there's no difference what those individuals are going through versus what I was going through when I was in trouble. Now, that doesn't mean they require less assistance or that they shouldn't get the same help that anybody else should get. Whether you're a white collar, very, very wealthy, privileged white collar individual, or you're a minimum wage, first-time nonviolent offender, you deserve the same exact type of service. You have the same fears, you have the same anxieties, you have the same questions about your family, where you're going, are you going to be safe, what you can do to minimize, and you've probably got the same concerns with the thought of suicide. For a lot of us, has been a very, very real thought. It was an incredibly real thought for me on several occasions. I never got to the point where I actually felt like I was going to do it, but I got in such a funk and I became so depressed that sometimes I really felt like, God, I can't live with this level of anxiety. It wasn't because I thought I was going to prison. It was because it was just constantly being dangled and stretched out further and further and further. From 2011 to 2014, it felt like eternity. And I know what you guys are going through. It's a very horrible, stressful feeling. So to see these consultants and the media really portraying that white-collar, wealthy individuals go through something different than what a nonviolent first-time offender goes through, to me, that's criminal in itself. That's these idiots capitalizing on, this is why they went to prison to begin with. A lot of these guys, these prison consultants that really, really focus on this white collar industry, they went to prison because they were greedy. And because they got greedy again and they found a way where they can charge 20, 30, 40 grand for consulting services, I can't wait till I see that just tumble over. And we've got some things in the works to help level the playing field. But RDAP Law Consultants, they're just in a whole nother breed. Here's an email. Let me show you this email. This is an email they sent to one of my clients. The Strong Prison. Hey, what's going on, Strong Prison Wives? Oh, is that? My screen is so little. Is that Ro? I can't see. I think it is. What's going on, Ro? Thank you for catching. Ro, your video, we just did an interview with Ro from, I believe that's Strong Prison Wives. Is that you, Ro? I can't see your picture from here, even with my glasses on. We did an awesome interview right before I went on my vacation, the wedding, with a lady by the name of Ro. And that video should be ready today, tomorrow. So I'll probably be posting it over the weekend. We had a 3-part series with her. Amazing story. her husband, or I should call him fiance, they're more or less they're married, but he was sentenced to 200 plus years. She was actually on Jessica Kent's channel a couple weeks back. You can catch out an awesome interview over on Jessica Kent's channel. But she's really an amazing force. She has great energy. She's doing some really awesome things. She's got some really good groups for women and for men that are going through these issues, whether you're going to prison, have a loved one going to prison. She's really built a strong support network, and it's all in the form of like a nonprofit. So I really, Ro, post your information in here, Ro, and I'll make sure that people get a chance to see it. But we have all her information in upcoming videos. So if you guys don't get to catch it on this time, next time around, amazing, beautiful woman who just has a great head on her shoulders and deals with a lot of grief. But here's an email. Let me show you an email. This is an email that RDAP Law Consultants would actually send out to their clients. This is how sloppy they were, in my opinion. Actually, they got so comfortable getting away with it for so long that I really thought they felt nobody was ever going to look at them. So this is an email that they would send, which it's like a paper trail with a bow tie on it, wrapped in diamonds. It just sticks out like such a fucking sore thumb. So let's take a peek at this. And I apologize, the screen's kind of little. So here, we'll make it bigger and we'll read the top half first and then we'll just kind of move it up. So I blocked out my client's name. This was just sent to me the other day, but this was sent to my client August 15th. And this was from Anh Nguyen, who is really Tony Pham. Scumbag. So these are our talking points on the phone soon. Please remember to bring the bottle and pills of your prescriptions with you. What to bring? Your prescription, some cash, your eyeglasses. Do the stage 1, 2, 3 method. Ask me to explain what this is. Never say that you have anxiety or depression, but rather feel sick because of you are going through alcohol withdrawals. Take medication that they give you. Go to sick call at least once, better twice. Drink 2 cups of caffeinated coffee prior to going. At sick call early in the morning, complain again about your bad symptoms. Always complain about your problems. Never say anything positive or they will use it against you. What you say and do will go into your medical records at the prison. Please see attached medical reports. We will go over these. Please don't try to apply or ask too many questions for at least 2 weeks. Start to go to Alcohol Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous classes right away and join non-residential RDAP. This will help you. 5. Dealing with staff. They don't care about you. Look and act stupid like a loser. And don't ask too many questions. Act dumb and clueless. Never challenge prison staff or they will get you and make it so hard. Always, yes, sir. Let's see. So this is one of the emails that they send. I thought I had the other email in here, but I guess I do not. The other email goes over what they actually were telling their clients to put. Telling clients to show up drunk, take specific drugs, really, really shady things. In the description of this video, there's a link, and here I'll grab it right now, so you guys can see this. This is a link that has some documents that they sent. Let's see, right here. So take a look at this, guys. Feel free, that goes into the Google Drive there. This will give you some insight to, has some of the medical records, some of the forms, has their indictment, has their bond paperwork. You know, and it really does take a nice hit to prison consulting in general, because even I got phone calls from media and stuff, and they wanted to know if this was like common practice. Is this what all prison consultants do? And I could see why attorneys are hesitant about referring clients to a prison consultant. A lot of my clients actually call me and tell me that their attorneys refer them to RDAP Law Consultants, which means a lot of these attorneys aren't really doing their homework. They're just assuming that it sounds good, because so many attorneys don't understand RDAP, the resident. Look, to get into RDAP, guys, you have to have a substance abuse issue that is states back 12 months prior to your indictment. So from the time you got indicted to the time, or 12 months back, that's the window of opportunity that you have to have had some substance abuse issues. Now, there are occasions where individuals go into their PSR interview and they do not disclose substance abuse, even though they really had substance abuse issues. We're dealing with that right now with the client who legitimately had substance abuse issues, but he did not disclose it due to the advisement of his attorney. However, he has verification that he did have substance abuse issues with prescription histories from the pharmacy, prescriptions from the doctor, copies of his pill bottles that dates back well within the amount of time frame. But because his attorneys told him not to disclose it, he has no evidence in his pre-sentence report. So if he were to go into prison tomorrow, go ask about RDAP, they would say, well, there's nothing in your PSR, so you're denied. So in a situation like that, yes, a consultant can help you because there can be help with a substance abuse evaluation, helping get copies of these records, packaging it all together, presenting it to the BOP to give you an opportunity to actually get the help that you might need to not just get the time off of your sentence, but to also make sure that you're going to potentially return home and less likely to recidivate because you've came to an understanding of how to deal with your addiction. Most people are not going to have a problem kicking their addiction while they're in prison because it's not going to be easy access to get a lot of these drugs. Yes, there's going to be drugs in prison. Yes, you'll see Suboxone. Yes, you'll see marijuana. But there's more eyes on you to where when you're in the free world, you do whatever you want. So just because you're able to get sober in prison where you don't have easy access to drugs, what happens if you don't really come up with coping mechanisms to deal with these triggers that you may have in life? So RDAP can really help you come up with a better mindset to make better choices, to focus on consequences. That's really the absolute point of the program. So when we saw companies like RDAP Law Consultants that were just completely destroying people's lives, Anh Nguyen, aka Tony Pham, Samuel Copenhaver, Constance Moreland, Daniel Johnson, whose real name is Daniel Barnacle, these people are just true dirtbags. And I really hope they're watching this video right now because I hope you guys get a lot of time. You've all been to, I don't know if Constance has been to prison, and I'm not 100% if Daniel's been to prison, but I know Tony Pham has been to prison, and I know Samuel Copenhaver has been to prison. Tony Pham actually went through RDAP, I believe, at Morgantown. He clearly didn't learn a fucking thing from the program because he's out here doing the same kind of shit that he was doing before. So I hope they throw that book at you, pick it up, and beat you over the head with it like what you deserve for what you've done, and not just to the other individuals, but so many people that went into prison that didn't get the help that they needed, that probably relapsed because you were teaching people how to beat the system to get into a program that didn't need the help, and you were taking those classes away from the ones that did need the help. So I hope because of your sick, twisted ways, I hope you get one hell of an uppercut. What's going on, Howard? Got Howard in the house. Welcome, Howard. It's very strange that they weren't using their real names. I don't know why they weren't using their real names, but we know why now. They really knew. I think they knew it someday that this was going to kind of come back and bite them in the ass. And somehow they must have, somewhere in their simpleton minds, those little pea brains, they really believed that they could somehow get away with this. And as we see, that is not the case at all. The feds aren't stupid, guys. There's so much evidence is out there. We get phone calls every single week. I would say more than 50% of the phone calls are individuals that had zero substance abuse issues. And like I said, we did get a call last week, or it might have been this week, from an individual that legitimately had issues, and RDAP Law Consultants just ran him through the mill, took his money, then went to prison, and he just found out. He's been calling, texting. They weren't returning his calls. So finally he did a Google. He Googled them. And of course, boom, there it is. I came across one of my videos. And that's really what made me want to do this video, because a lot of people are still unaware that they've disappeared. Websites are all gone. Feds are probably monitoring all of that stuff. My advice to anybody that had any run-ins with RDAP Law Consultants is reach out to the agents that are running that, because who knows what these agents are planning on doing. Who knows if they're looking at the clients that were involved. I believe it's better to be proactive and let them know that you were bamboozled by these idiots than to have them come to you and think that you were maybe up to no good as well. So if anybody has any need to get a hold of the agents, please feel free to reach out to me. We 100% can help you. If you do have legitimate substance abuse problems and you did not 100% disclose it into your pre-sentence report, we can assist with creating better odds for you entering into the program. It's one of the services that we offer. I mean, hence my name, RDAP Dan. I went through RDAP myself. I was sentenced to 42 months. I received my good time, which knocked off 6 months. I qualified for RDAP, which reduced my sentence by a year. And then I also qualified for Second Chance Act of 11 months. So I ended up serving 13 months in prison on my 42-month sentence. If anybody's interested in trying to repeat that type of success story and they're looking for that same roadmap to success, it's 100% what we do. In addition to personal narrative, character reference letter creation, we really want to help you craft the best possible personal narrative when you're presenting yourself for the judge. Same thing with your character reference letters on your friends and family's behalf who's writing letters for you. You guys have to realize how often these letters look exactly the same, look like everybody else's letter the judge has ever read. You have to take this serious. So many federal defending attorneys do not understand the importance, or they don't care about the importance. They definitely have a very slow understanding of how RDAP works and how all of this ties together and how important it is to be very honest during the pre-sentence report. So these are some of the services that we offer, guys, along with trying to help you get into second chance, designation. We found some really cool new tips on trying to help individuals get redesignated that we've seen work for some other individuals here in the last couple of weeks. So these are some new methods that we're going to be trying, motions that are going to the judge. We've got a very, very intense staff that make sure that all of these areas are covered, from Jenny, who's our creative writer, aka life coach, Angela, who is our paralegal, who was an attorney, who went to federal prison, who now works for her son's law firm as the capacity of a paralegal, helps us with a lot of preparation for different motions to assist individuals in creating the best possible outcome. You don't have to go spend $20,000 or $30,000. You really don't. $5,000 or less will get you exactly what any other prison consultant could possibly do for you, and in many cases, probably a whole lot more. It's very important for you to stay interactive. You have to be willing to pick up the phone, give calls, call us back. It's a two-way street. There's no magic wand. There's no magic pill that you're going to take. It's going to require hard work and effort from both sides. Our job is to stay active with you. Our job is not to chase you down. It's not to babysit. If you're not answering your phone, you're not returning text messages, you're not returning emails, we're going to go radio silent and wait for you to come to us, because we can't make you get active about your own situation. Our job is not to work harder on your own situation than what you're willing to do. If you're willing to put in the effort and you're willing to follow some basic, simple direction, sounds basic and simple, but it really is hard work. If you're willing to put in that time and effort, we're probably going to be the best prison consultant for you. If you're looking for somebody just to do it all for you and you don't want to lift a finger, there probably is no prison consultant for you, but there's plenty that will tell you what you want to hear and take your money. So just be careful, guys. Buyer beware. Do your due diligence. Do your homework. Shop around. Just because somebody's got a flashy name tag and a giant price tag to go with it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get what you pay for. Look at how many of you have spent high six figures on your attorneys, and come to the end of the day, you realize that you probably would have got the same thing with a federal defender. The feds are the feds. You're going to take a plea. You're going to plea out. Unless you're 100% innocent, most of you are not going to go to trial. And for those of you that do go to trial, most of you are going to lose. I think we've seen one person that ended up not going to, they didn't even win their trial, but they didn't go to prison. Everybody else we've seen get hammered. Most people that go to trial, even if they're probably innocent, end up with a heftier sentence because the feds are aggravated that you went to trial and they're punishing you for making them spend money, time, and resource. Jared Mendez, thank you for that $2 donation. I know a lot of people are going, $2 donation, what is that going to do? Guys, these little donations add up. They go into our spending account. That's for indigent inmates that are in the prison system. Not everybody has what everybody else has. So being able to give somebody a couple of cups of coffee, some soups, some hygiene products, some stamps, some envelopes, $2-3 here and there makes all of the difference. So every penny that you guys donate, I greatly appreciate it. And it really is the whole people helping people, communities method motto. And if it weren't for people like you, awesome, down to earth, understanding that this is a very, very rough time, not just for you, but for your family. All of you right now that are watching this video tonight, and you're thinking how stressed out you are, Howard, I know you're stressed. When you get off, forget about your stress, excuse me, forget about your stress and go talk to your significant other that's also going through it. Let them know that you're going to get through this and that you're sorry for dragging them through this with you, and let them know how appreciative you are that they're sticking by you through this really hard time. For a lot of your family members, this is like watching somebody die. This is as close to a family member dying as it can be without a family member dying. Seeing somebody get ready to go to prison, not knowing what to say, not knowing what to do, not knowing what to expect, it's sitting around and watching somebody die of a slow death. The minute you go to prison, they have this giant relief because their life can kind of go back into order. They're going to grieve a little bit. Within a week, they'll be back in a routine. They'll be going to work. They'll be focused on paying bills. They'll be kids, grocery shopping, whatever it is. They're going to pick back up in their routine. Right now, you're hindering them from moving forward because of how negative and depressed you are. They do not know what to do. So it's your job to go show them appreciation. Every day should be Family Appreciation Day until you go to prison. And then when you get to prison, make sure your communication is upbeat and positive. If you're having a shitty day, I'm not saying don't tell them that you didn't have a hard day, but don't take it out on them. Don't blame them if they don't get to a phone call right away, if they don't email you back right away, if their money is not on your books the minute you ask for it. They are taking care of everything else that you left behind for them. You guys have turned all of these individuals, all of your friends and family, you've turned them into victims of something they never ever thought they would be dealing with. So be very appreciative, walk on eggshells, give them some time to grieve as well. And I promise you, this will create healthy relationships. They'll appreciate you. They'll answer your phone calls. I used to see guys in prison that were always in a shitty mood. Nobody ever answered their phone calls because nobody wants to get yelled at from a guy in prison. It's like, I'm out here doing everything I can to take care of the shit you need, plus everything I got to do in my own life, and you're going to give me shit for not getting money on your books the minute you ask. You're lucky I'm picking up your phone. And this is what destroys many significant other relationships. Marriages, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is. This can destroy relationships if you do not keep an open line of communication. So that's where Ro comes in. That's where, when we see Ro's channel and when you guys get to meet Ro, you're really going to get to see it from her point of view. She's with a man that's might possibly never get released from prison, and the stresses she has to deal with. And she's young, she's beautiful, she's probably getting all kinds of grief from the free world, and she has made a conscious decision to stay there by her husband's side because of the relationship she has with him. He's really valuing the relationship and not taking anything for granted, knowing how stressful this is on her. That's the point of view you guys have to have if you want your relationship to last. Jared Mendez, I appreciate it. Howard, I appreciate you. Jared, thank you again for the donation. It's awesome. Guys, that's all we really have to talk about today. I just really want to bring awareness to RDAP Law Consultants and the other consultants that are like them. We will do our best to expose every dirty prison consultant out there and make sure that everybody knows RDAP Dan, Federal Prison Time Consulting, people helping people, communities method, one day at a time is probably the best choice prison consulting for anybody that actually does their homework and due diligence. Hope you guys have a great week. We're going to see a video in a couple days from Ro, so look forward to that. I love every single one of you. And as always, every day, people helping people, communities method. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon. Have a great week. Later.